George, and more importantly, Bermuda. St. George's is one of the most historic gems of Bermuda, and lately you've probably heard it headlining a lot in terms of our channel, urgent care center, and the historical element being that we are in the World Heritage Committee. But one of the things that I want you to realize when we come to St. George's, we as St. Georgians are proud people, and we take pride in our town, and we also find our town to be very important. The last year, for me being in the political arena, has seen St. George's highlighted on several levels. And when I say that to you, I don't mean it just from, it's seen as this politics, but for us who live down here, this is our reality. We have our urgent care center that we are fighting to remain open. We have our police station that was promised to us based on the government's platform to be a 24-hour police station, and we don't have that today. Today we probably have, and I say probably, a 12-hour functioning police station. We have incidents in our town now, and it does take the police a little longer to get out here to us because they are coming from Southside. We understand the challenges in terms of economic challenges and things like that, but there are some challenges that we face in St. George that are probably a bit unique from the rest of Bermuda. And when I say that, I'm not trying to label St. George's as anything special, because it may be special to me, it may not be special to someone else, but we do have special situations in St. George's, especially when you think about the bridge that gets you down here to St. George. We've had important things happen, like we had a hurricane in 2003, and that actually disconnected St. George from the rest of the island for approximately 4 weeks. And when you think of in terms of being disconnected from the rest of Bermuda and what it is that we could do and we couldn't do, this is now the time for us to be proactive and put things in place so that we can prevent St. George's from being that detachment. So the urgent care center, that was part of being proactive. And that was part of the previous administration's way of saying that we understand, or we understood what it was like to not be able to get medical care for approximately 4 weeks. Something as simple as a stitch, not being able to have access. And what we see as a government is that access to medical care is a must. So if you hear us coming out strong and very loud and very passionate for the urgent care center, that's because we've lived it and we know what it's like. With regards to our police station, well, the fact that we have a World Heritage status in itself means that we probably need to have a police station. We have a 12-hour station right now that is manned not by a police officer but by a station duty officer. I've had several conversations with people, our constituents, our residents, just our members of public, how it relates to this. And I think that if we all sat around the table, we could find a way to make this work. Because we understand the economic challenges, as I said to you, but we also see the need. St. George's in itself used to be the hustle and bustle of the Eastern End. We're a bit quiet now. We've had discussions about the cruise ships, and that's something that's headlining even right now for St. George. But I think we can also appreciate that that comes with some communication and dialogue. I don't think that it's on the government to make that decision. I think that it's on the people and the government to make that decision together. So us working with the government, and I mean all of us, parliamentarians from the East, the government, and the people that live down here who will be majorly impacted by any modifications to a town cut, need to work together. When we think about Bermuda in general, we think about the fact that we are in an economic slump, but we are in a global economic slump. This recession was not a Bermuda recession as it was previously named. This is a global recession, and it's a real deal for each and every one of us every day. And one of the things that I think that I would like to talk to you, just get your ear on, and because this is on a national level, is the reply to our throne speech that we gave in the Senate. One of the items that I highlighted was the fact that we, and when I say we, I mean the government, we need to consider diversification of our revenue. And we also need to analyze our revenue. We have spent a lot of time with SAGE, which was the Government Spending and General Efficiencies Committee, but what we really needed to consider was revenue. I do not believe to this day, and I've said it many times, that we could have considered our spending without taking into consideration what our revenues were, and we should have done an analysis on what our revenues were, what we may have been losing, and what we could have gained. There is no business person that I can think of, and even in the conversations that I've had, that would agree that you only look at your spending because you only know what you're able to spend based on what you make. So this doesn't make sense, and it hasn't made sense. And I've appealed to the government on several occasions that they must consider the revenues. And just even to show you something, if you were able to look at one of the budget books, page 22, the government actually say that the revenues are how they determine the allotment of funds for the ministries. So if the revenues are what determines what our ministries are going to get and what they can spend, then we must encourage the government to do a study on revenue. And that study needs to happen sooner rather than later, because I cannot see how we can justify the cuts that we are making without ensuring that we have an analytical study on what those revenues look like.